This week's video is an action-packed week of running from Torrevieja, ending in the Santa Pola half marathon on Sunday. On Monday, I ran about 6.5 miles on the Via Verde, so an out and back, and this was a steady pace for me, so it was low 7 miles, a little bit quicker than an easy run. It was nice to get off the plane, get landed, and get some miles in when we got here. On Tuesday, I went to the track with Dan and Sam, and obviously they're running a bit quicker than me. Their session was 20 lots of 400, so I thought, how best can I chip in with this session and try and tag along? And my best bet was to do alternate 400s, so we're not doing a track session for quite a while. I hopped in and did 10 of the 400s, set out and aimed to hit like a similar pace to what they were hitting, but then having obviously a bit more recovery. So I was getting 2 to 3 minutes off the back of each rep, and my session ended up doing 10 400s, and I started out about 73 to 75, and then all my 400 reps were under 80 seconds, so it's a good session for me. On Wednesday I planned for a slightly longer run, so I was looking for about 12 miles this day, but I knew that a lot of that would probably be running on my own, as a group we're running with a lot quicker. So in the video we've got Dan and Sam, Lily and Ben running, and I could probably only stay for about 2 to 3 miles at the start of this run, so a lot of this run was solo for me, about 10 to 12 miles. It's Thursday morning and I'm on my way to the loop for my tempo session. So what I've got in store today is I'm going to leave it fairly relaxed in terms of what I want from this session, but I'd like somewhere between 4 to 6 miles at the pace that I intend to run Santa Pola on Sunday. So I'm looking around somewhere between 6:45 and 6:30 per mile, which will get me somewhere in the region of a high 120 something, so like 128, maybe getting down to 125 best case scenario on Sunday. And we are underway. Mile 1, off we go. It's mile 1 done, 6:34. Mile 2, 6:38. Mile 3, 6:40. That's the session done now, so just on the cool down on the way home, about half a mile in, so I've gone straight into that cool down, took a bit of pace out of the legs, and now I'm just jogging. We'll go into a walk by the end. So I finished mile 4, got a bit of a burst on mile 4, I was dropping to 6:40 on mile 3, and then I finished in about 6:33, so I'll take that. Good solid 4 mile tempo, and I think I maybe could have got 1 more mile out of it, possibly, but my legs are going to thank me for that on Sunday. After my tempo on Thursday, I then got on the bike to help Sam and Dan out with their tempo, so they did an 8 mile tempo, ranging between 5:30s and 5:40s, so good run for both of them, great run in fact. That's Friday morning session done now, so headed out to the river, and this was a little bit quicker pace than an easy pace run, so probably a steady pace run for me. Set off at around 7s, which I soon felt was a little bit too quick, and then dropped down to 7:10s, 7:15s, and felt quite comfortable at that pace. So went to time for this one rather than distance. I knew probably around 10 miles would be the rough indicator, but went out for 75 minutes. So I did 37.5 out, 37.5 back, and ended up in just about the same spot. So it was paced quite evenly, and pleased with that run. Managed about 10.5 miles at 7:10 average. That run was a good indicator for the half marathon at the weekend, so probably done slightly too close to Sunday, with only having tomorrow off to freshen up my legs a bit. But that was, yeah, running at 7:10 pace. I know that I could probably push a half marathon at around 6:40 pace, so that's a good sign for Sunday, that I can get hopefully around that 1:28 mark, if not a bit quicker. On Saturday I did my shakeout run before the race, and this was an aerobic run of 5.5 miles, and I did include 5 lots of 15 alactic strides within this. So doing some strides up to 15 seconds, we'll use the alactic system, which uses the energy that is readily available within the muscles without fatiguing me going into race day, and just sort of wakes my legs up a bit going into race day. On Sunday, this was for Santa Pola half marathon. So this was actually the scene of my last half marathon over 2 years ago now. So I did PB in 1:21 at this half marathon, and I can't believe I've not run one since. So as we're going into the day, I did decide to set off at and just ease into quite a comfortable pace, and that felt like about 6:35 per mile on the day. Certainly in the first 4 to 5 miles anyway, this felt pretty comfortable, and I knew doing a tempo on Thursday at this 6:35 pace that I probably couldn't push too much quicker than this over the half marathon distance, as I did only do about 4 miles for the tempo. So first 5 miles went pretty well. I then dropped into a bit of a slower pace at around 6:40 to 6:45 per mile over the next 5 to 6 miles, before then dropping it back down to more like that 6:35 and then a 6:24 for mile 13. So this did then get me to a 1:27.45, which I'll take that. I wanted anything between 1:25 and 1:30. It's a decent time for saying I've not gone into it with a lot of fitness, and I'm hoping it'll be a marker that I can bring this time down a lot in my next half marathon, somewhere closer to the PB of 1:21 and possibly even lower than that. And to sum up the week as a whole, it's the best week I've had in a long time training wise. So obviously with me not being at work and out here, I can get out and run a lot more in a lot better conditions as well. So mileage wise, I hit 75.5 miles for the week. So this was great in terms of mileage, but I was also able to hit 2 solid sessions and a half marathon race within there. So the solid session of a track session on Tuesday, which I've not done a good solid track session for probably about a month now, and I hit a good tempo session on Thursday. So really pleased with that. My minimum target is to do 1 interval session, 1 tempo session per week, and then a long run at the weekend. And this is where I see my training, even when I come back to England, and try and hit around 60 miles to 70 miles a week whilst doing this. The good news is that I'm here till next Friday, so I'll be doing a lot more training out here in the good weather, and I don't have a race to think about the weekend. So where I possibly backed off a little bit on Friday and Saturday in terms of sessions and mileage, I can get as much mileage in here as I can, get some good sessions in, get another long run in before I get back to England, which will be nicer in about 10 to 15 degrees in the sunshine here than the ice that we've got back home. So I'll get another good solid week in, probably hit a similar sort of mileage, maybe even more, and then try to keep around 60 to 70 miles a week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.